Good afternoon then. It was been a privilege for me to be involved with this as part of the steering group, and I'd just like to start my session just by congratulating Giuliano in particular, because I know, as we've already heard, he's been so central to this, but also Peter. And I can say how much work and dedication they've put into this, so congratulations for getting it through here. So my career spanned 40 years, 25 years of which have been in infrastructure, 10 of which was in the Treasury, with the Treasury Task Force and Partnerships UK, which of course are predecessors of the IPA now. So I've seen a lot of the way that government works, and I've been asked to spend 10 minutes talking about the government's perspective on this course. So I'm going to cover a few points. I won't dwell on that slide, other than to say, really, why is infrastructure important to government? What's government's role? Why is this MBA relevant? So let's move on, Peter. And just a spoiler alert, Peter tells me the last slide is the best slide. Sorry.
You have it, I'll play it.
Peter tells me that the last slide is the only slide I should concentrate on, so that's a spoiler alert. But I can't believe you don't like looking at all these lovely pictures. Thanks to Crossrail International for allowing me to pinch that slide. So what's government got to do with it? What's the public sector got to do with it? Well, infrastructure is largely a link to public service, and often it's very, very big, very expensive, very difficult projects. And although we all like to love all our children the same, and we have to recognise that not all of them are as beautiful as the Elizabeth line.
I don't think I can do that from here.
Okay, well, someone will look for that.
I'm sorry. Yes, the experts.
So hence they're political. So government is a big player, both as a commissioner of projects and as an involved stakeholder. Similarly, government is involved in all the phases of the project. So in approval of prioritisation stage, very few airport expansions or indeed sewers will ever get off the line without government backing. In the structuring and initiation phase, I'm going to talk a little bit about Crossrail in a minute, but Crossrail would not have happened without a massive amount of collaboration from the government side, government sector side. In execution, that's when government tends to step back a bit, but I think notably HS1 I could flag up as getting going, only to find that it came back to government, had to be refinanced, restructured to enable that project to get away. And then in terms of the assurance and the benefit realisation, I'd cite London 2012, fantastic project, wonderful event. But of course, here we are 10 years later, and it's actually the government's public sector that are finishing off and realising that legacy and benefits realisation. So government is a key commissioner, key sponsor, key player in major infrastructure, and ultimately it is accountable for consequences and benefit realisation. And it is all very complicated. So moving over the page, thank you. Now you can see that is, you've probably seen that slide times before. That's a depiction of how the government, Department of Transport and Transport of London came together, and that's the governance arrangements between the two sponsors and the way it relates to the delivery body Crossrail itself. And the important part of that slide is just to flag up that Crossrail was only possible by bringing together central government, London government, the National Railway, the London transport organisations, London Underground, DLR, London Overground, together with London Business, were key to getting the funding in the London the rate supplement, business rate supplement. Developers at Canary Wharf and Woolwich and industry together to bring that project together. And there'll be similar structures for Tideway and HS2. So that structure, complex as it is, was put together by government, public servants, if you will, long before the project saw the light of day. Following its review in 2014, the National Audit Office said it was a textbook example of how to set up a project for success. Of course, it did omit to say that there wasn't a textbook, but there is now, if you'd like to go for the next slide. And I think this is something that we could all be very proud of, is that the industry has changed dramatically in 20 years. Around about that time we were on the first or second edition of the Green Book. OGC gateways were just being invented, and there was a suite of documents produced to support that. Since that time, and probably in the last 10 years, the IPA and the Construction Industry Council, the Infrastructure Client Group, have built on that. And we've got now a whole suite of documentation to guide the projects through their initiation and delivery phases. And then I put in the Crossrail logo there, but all big projects now, it's a key part of the project to create a learning facility to build on the knowledge of the project. So this is where Giuliano comes in. Spoiler alert, this is the last slide. And of course it isn't where Giuliano came in, because Giuliano's been involved in this for many, many years and was very much alongside us at Crossrail in developing our learning legacy. But the MBA is designed around best practice gleaned from many projects I've spoken about, and explores the many, many challenges that I'm struggling here, I'm sorry, that we have to face. And I think this MBA is about stretching the knowledge from where the government starts to where the project finishes. And if you run your eyes down that list, which will probably be easier than me talking to it, but the MBA's modules cover some of these key areas which are very, very important to the government side of things, both in terms of having government people represented on the course, but also other folk who are not involved in the government end of things being involved and understanding all that early work that goes on in the project. So understanding the institutional environment, understanding how governance and risk and assurance interplay together, understanding how to manage political support on the project, and then understanding what it's like to be a leader in a complex system where there are many leaders actually. I remember the England rugby manager saying he wanted 15 leaders on the field. And of course that's often, the similar situation that we have in major project delivery, where we've got leaders in many, many organisations having to come together and understand and working together in a complex way. So understanding that network effect of many leaders coming together and having to coexist and support one another. So finally, before my voice gives up altogether, I'd just say, point out the last bullet there, helping everybody to understand what they don't know, and therefore how to learn what they need to know from those around them. I think this is a great course and I commend it. Sorry, just about
well done.